It was my biggest month like ever in commission sales for sure. I think I made like over 16K last in
$16,000, guys. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Guys, that's about almost, if he just keeps going at that track, that's multiple six figures. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Closers Network podcast. Now, you're probably like, where the heck is this guy and where the heck is this guy's guest today? So today, guys, we're actually out in West Palm Beach, Florida. We brought about 25 of our closers down to Patrick Bet-David's The Vault event. So today, guys, we got a guest who's had one heck of a journey from selling plums and taking in the neighbor's trash cans as a kid, to slinging mini kegs in military barracks, to crushing it as a top salesman in the medical device industry, and did I mention a former Marine Scout sniper with 2 deployments to Iraq under his belt? He's a man who's gone from thinking he could never sell like his father did to becoming a top salesman in his company while overcoming a speech impediment and being a self-proclaimed introvert. This guy didn't just take the road less traveled, he took the toughest one. And he's here to share how competitive spirit and love for personal growth have shaped his entire personal and sales career. We're gonna dive into today how sales has transformed his life, made him a better communicator, and given him a true sense of purpose. And of course, we're gonna hear about his time here at One Call Closers. He said that our company, One Call Closers, has provided life-changing training that has led to some amazing success for him. So he's currently one of the top 10 closers within the One Call Closers sales agency. So guys, get ready, because today's episode is going to be packed with a lot of insight, with a lot of inspiration, and maybe even a few wild stories. So let's give a warm welcome to David Sullivan. David, welcome to the podcast,
Hey,
man.
thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to have you. First of all, I want to thank you for your service. You've gone ahead and served our country. And now, so let's talk about how you're serving people. I want to get into that a little bit today.
Absolutely.
So you've had a pretty wild journey from selling mini kegs in the military barracks to becoming the top salesman in the medical device industry. What would you say, which one of these experiences taught you the most about sales, and how have you maybe applied like some of those lessons that you learned today or even just later on after you got out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up as a kid like picking plums out like the backyard and taking them down the street to the corner and selling them. Like when I was like 8 or 9 years, I can't believe my parents let me do that, but they did. And then, I've always had a mindset, I think growing up with a dad who was like an entrepreneur, kind of like had a roofing company for 30 years.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing that. And then, I don't know, I never felt like a good salesman, you know? You watch The Office at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always felt like I was Andy, just like an idiot who didn't know how to sell anything. And then, I don't know, just as the more personal growth I've gotten, whether it's like coaching here at 1CC, and then having a mentor, my father-in-law, Robert, he's just taught me a lot about how to speak with people, like how to communicate. And then, I've been in past sales jobs where I was awful. I was selling loans when I was in my 20s and newly married and just broke and just not making any money. So, But I think especially the last even 3 months that I've been with One Call Closers, I'd never had training like this ever. Like how to deal with objections, like how to give a proper, have a proper conversation with someone to, understand the person, their needs, and all that stuff. So it's been great, man. I'm just having the time of my life.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've been here about, sounds like 3 months.
Yeah.
You've been applying some coaching, it sounds like, and you've been having some tremendous success, which I definitely want to get into. One of the things that you shared with me early on is actually struggled with sales early on, making just 2 sales when you first started. What kept you like going during those tough times, and like what do you feel like might have been like that turning point for you that helped you go from like feeling awful to like awesome?
I think when I was my first sales job, I was selling loans and I had no clue about anything. And I've always been a hard worker. Like even as a kid, I think growing up playing sports, I was super competitive, and I was like, I was always, well, I was usually on like good teams, so I was always around like heavy competition, and played football into college, and then I think I just had a good work ethic. So it didn't matter what I did, I always thought I was going to be good. Like, and I grew up just like being the kid who was good at sports, and so jumping into the professional world, I think I was clueless. Like I didn't have any training or experience, but I worked my butt off, and I would call people all day for like over a year. And I think I sold two deals that whole year.
Damn.
I was broke. Yeah, we were so broke. I was like newly married. I think had just had a kid.
Getting
Our
some
first
sort of
kid.
base at this time?
No,
Just straight commission?
I think no. It was straight commission.
Wow.
Yeah, and so my wife had to get a job to like even just like pay the rent. You know, we had like a 1-bedroom apartment, and so I felt like I was kind of like lacking as a man, not providing for my family. You know, so that was rough. And then working with my father-in-law Robert in the medical device industry. While it wasn't proper training, I was around him, and I like would listen to him talk to people on the phone, and I would just mirror him. You know, I was a pretty quick learner, and just kind of having experience, understanding how to speak with people and what they want, understand what they need for their business. That's kind of just, I think I needed a little bit of training, and then I would just work my butt off. Like I got told by the president of the company, they're like, "Hey, you need to stop working overtime because we can't have you working overtime." I was like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, fine." So they told me to stop working. So, and then I come here and I got like real specific training. I think it just, obviously it's, you only eat what you kill, right? So commission based, it's like, hey, if you can work hard and you get the training, like anyone can do it. Like if I could do it, you could do it. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah. So
that's awesome, man. Now, so I'm curious, how old were you when you got into the military, and what kind of sparked that? Like, how did that happen?
So I came out of high school, went to play football at San Jose State, and then they got a new coach, and then so they didn't know me, so they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm here to play football." And they're like, "Well, you gotta wait a little bit." So I had to wait, and then I played, had a rough year in college, didn't get good grades because I wasn't attending class. And then that year, the fall, when I started college, September 11th happened, 2001. And it was just kind of bugging me. And then I talked to my cousin he was in the Marine infantry. He's like, "Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I love it." And I never wanted to be military. I was like, never gonna do that ever. And I just felt like, I think I always had a sense of duty to whether it's like my family or the community or whoever. I always felt like I needed to provide for other people. And so I just like felt led, and I didn't talk to my parents. My parents were kind of pissed off when they heard about it, and but they supported me, which was good. And I just felt like I needed to do it. And so I signed up, went to the recruiter. They're like, "Hey, you scored pretty good. We'll take you."
ASVAB?
The ASVAB, yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I scored pretty high on that. They're like, "You should go into Intel." And I was like, "I want a gun." And they're like, "No, you should really do Intel." And I was like, I want a gun. And so I went into the infantry for the Marines.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. When you say like 9/11 bothered you, was it like, and you talked to your cousin about how the military experience, was that like part of the big reason that got you to make that decision?
That was part of it, and my father wasn't, but my grandpa was in the Navy during World War II.
Oh, okay.
And he died pretty young. He died when I was 18, so it was a couple of years before that. And so I only heard him talk about his military experience one time. I think he was drunk. And but he was a good dude, Grandpa Joe. And he told me about, he was on this Navy ship, and while he was he was stationed up in Alaska, and they were during the war. I guess they got torpedoed a bunch of times.
Dang.
And I was like, "Wasn't that scary?" And he's like, "Not really. They would just shake the ship a little bit, and we were fine." I was like, "Seriously?" And he's like, "Yeah, Jeez. It wasn't a big deal." So I think just having that, that experience with my grandpa, and then my cousin was in, and I was like, I got to do something. School wasn't going real well, and I was like, well, I got time right now. I'll come back and play football later. And so I was like, I'll just do it. I'm still young, single. So I did.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, yeah, again, thank you for your service. So
yeah, thanks.
That's cool. So being a Marine Scout sniper, I would imagine must have required an incredible amount of discipline and focus. How do you feel like your military experience shaped your approach, maybe in sales or just personal growth?
Yeah, like one of the guys that I like to listen to, you probably know, like Jordan Peterson,
Yes.
podcaster, like his 12 rules for life, right? He wrote that book. One of them is like, make your bed. Like every morning, just make your bed. Like build some discipline in your life. And I didn't really connect the two until recently. It's like every day in boot camp, like you have to make your bed, like perfect. Like attention to detail, right? Every crease, like there's no creases in the bed. You have to fold the corners. You got to make your pillow look perfect. And then on top of that, like if your rack mate, like because you sleep on bunks, right? So if your rack mate, the guy on top or the bottom or whatever, if their bed's messed up, you're both going to get in trouble. So there's like some accountability.
I was going to say accountability.
Exactly. And so I think while growing up playing sports, I had a lot of discipline and I knew what hard work was and I knew what a coach was. And I just kind of like just reinforced it even further, right? To like the nth degree in terms of like discipline and having that accountability. And so I think I've taken that, those 4 years that I spent in the Marines and really just enforced my upbringing of like whether it's hard work and attention to detail and stuff like that into like my professional career, right? In terms of sales and keeping track of things and everything's. I'm not OCD by any means, but I do pay attention to details. And like it was funny, right when I graduated boot camp, I had like a little tiny scuff on my shoe, but they're like shiny and black and they look perfect. And I think one of the first things I said to my mom was like, "Oh, sorry about my shoes," because they were scuffed. And she's like, "What are you talking about? They're like shiny and bright." But to me, I was like, I could see that little tiny scuff. Yeah. So that was just like just like a small portion of that. But so I applied that to my job, right? So whether it's like paying attention to the conversation that we're having, like what you're trying to convey to me.
Yep.
Like all these little tiny details that build like this huge foundation of what we're actually going after, I think is probably the biggest thing is attention to detail and like having discipline and doing the hard work, right? So it's definitely helped me out for sure.
I love that, man. I love that. Attention to detail is extremely huge. Accountability, discipline, all those skill sets are so transferable to sales and in my opinion, necessary, right? I think empathy is another strong one, right? That I think is often underrated. So that's really cool to hear. Like, do you feel like, because you're obviously in the top 10 of the leaderboard and there's over 100 people on that offer. So that's a huge statement, especially for 3 months in. Would you say like you're a pretty solid listener? Like you listen, like you're able to catch stuff with, like, are you more so like worried about what to say next? Or are you really like paying attention, hearing what this person's saying? You know what, I hope you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Nat, you mentioned I'm an introvert earlier in the intro, right? I've always been super friendly with people. I like to hang around people most times, right? Sometimes I need my alone time. I think that's helped me. I grew up with 3 sisters and a mom and a dad. So I was around a lot of girls who talked a lot. So I was kind of just more like, just chill in the background. But it's helped me become a good listener, I think. And it's funny because in trainings and you hear people talk about, you shouldn't be thinking about what you're going to say next. And I've never been that way. I'm not thinking about what I'm thinking next. I'm thinking about like, what are they saying?
Right.
So I don't know if that's like natural or like just my environment. I don't know. I think I'm not really thinking about what I'm going to say next. I'm like paying attention to the words. Yeah. So that definitely helps. And it's funny that you mentioned empathy because one of the first trainings I went to here at 1CC, I think it was just George. And he goes, yeah, empathy is super important, blah, blah. I was like, George, I'm really bad at empathy. Like, I was in the Marine Corps, like I just get yelled at and I'm like, I have to like yell at other people. So like, I'm not good at like hearing. So that was one thing I had to work on for sure. But having that training and like, okay, like listening to people and like understand, like putting yourself in their shoes, right?
Yep.
Like how would that feel to me has been, I think a breakthrough, I think for me, it's like understanding, not being so hard-nosed and like firm or like assertive with people. It's okay to like understand and relax a little bit and just kind of, get in their shoes, like I said.
Well, that's really cool to hear that it sounds like, hey, it wasn't necessarily a skill set I was really good at, but hey, through some training, I was able to kind of dial in that skill set a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is powerful. That's just so you know, like that. These are stuff you can all work on, guys. Like, we're not born with any of these things, right? These are things you develop. And shout out to Coach George. Sorry, it's midnight again, guys. It's been a really long day. We've been up since like 6 a.m. So we're still going hard after the event, after dinner, and everything like that. But shout out to Coach George. So, dude, sales is often seen as like a profession for smooth talkers. But you mentioned to me, like, you know, you've been an introvert, you just said, and you also had mentioned that you had a speech impediment. So how did you overcome that?
That's a good question. I think I don't really care what people think about me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's probably confidence from just growing up in athletics and being in the military. I still remember, I won't say her name, but I got made fun of by this girl when I was like in 5th grade or 4th grade. And I still remember it. I don't know why. Because I naturally have like a little bit of a lisp when I talk, so my S is kind of a slur. And sometimes when I get excited, I'll have a little bit of a stutter, but I haven't had like a stuttering problem. But I think that, now that we're talking about it, probably like that's been in the back of my head for years, just kind of like my understanding of how I talk. It's kind of like probably held me back a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, I think that the confidence I have is just, I don't really care. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think I've let it hold me back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's only a concern if you believe it's a concern, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't believe it's going to concern and it's not going to affect what you're doing, then it's not. You know, both things could be true. Yeah. I think a lot of that goes back to the mindset piece of a lot of what we do here. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So, dude, you got a competitive spirit. It's driven you constantly to seek out challenges, even when the odds have been against you. Do you have a time that you can share with us that like competitiveness like really paid off in your career?
Competitive paid off in my career? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like my last sales job, I was like the top salesman. It was a small team, to be fair. But I was selling like, you know, they gave me however many months to hit my quota. I hit it like in 3 weeks. Jeez. And I was selling.
This guy's being humble, bro. This guy, he's in the top 10 of 150-person offer right now. He's talking about he was the top salesman in a smaller offer. He's being humble. I'm going to give him a shout out because he's being real humble right now. Sorry to cut you off. I just had to throw that in there.
I appreciate that. But I was like, you know, I was selling more than like any other past salesman. Sorry, Justin. I sold more than you. But no, but like, I think just being competitive, like I hate to lose. I hate to lose in like a board game with my family. Yeah. I hate to lose in a race, in any game. If my fantasy team loses, I'm pissed. Yep. My wife knows that, and I coach football, coach high school football, and I get in a bad mood. I'm ticked off until the next day. And I think that has definitely helped me as I apply that to my professional career, whether it's sales and what I've done in the past. It's like, dude, I want to be at the top. I don't care what it takes. I'll work 16-hour days like I did in August. I didn't take a day off. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not. But guys, this is the mentality that I wanted to get into. The whatever it takes mentality, guys. Like, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Like, really genuinely ask yourself that. And it might not even be something like you're ready to answer right now. Like, ponder on that question a little bit, guys. But are you really in a position, like if you're really serious about making things happen in sales, like, are you willing to do whatever it takes to get to that spot, man? And that's a really important question.
And I'll add on to that too. Dude, I'm not the most skilled person. Like, there are people who are way better at sales than me. I'm not a smooth talker, kind of fumble over my words a lot. But I think I just outwork people. Like, and I've just made that like that's just what I do. Like, that's just my attitude. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. So that's kind of where I'm at, I think.
Guys, are you willing to outwork people? Right? We're coming from a Patrick Bet-David event right now. And the one thing he literally shared with us today at the event is how when he was growing his sales agency, PHP, and he sold it for over, I think, $300 million, he literally was working on Saturdays, and that's how he knew he had the edge over the competition, is because he was willing to do whatever it takes to get to where he wanted to go. So you got to ask yourself that, like, are you willing to do whatever it takes? That's a really, really important question you got to ask yourself. That's freaking awesome, man. Listen, you've talked about personal growth and you've experienced through sales and even how it's maybe affected your personal relationships. Do you have maybe a specific example or how maybe some of these skills that you've been able to develop in sales have even just translated outside of sales, like into your life outside of work?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially having my own family, right? Been married for 17 years next month. Got 3 kids.
17 years, dude, you look so young. You look great.
I'm 42. Thank you.
Damn, dude, I thought you were like in your early 30s.
No, bro, no.
Let's go.
I'm old.
You look great, man. That's awesome.
I got bad back. I got bad knees. But, you know, I heard an interesting story the other day about having a garden, taking care of your garden in life, right? Part of that, your garden is your wife. Part of that is your job and your kids, right? Probably the 3 main things. Wife being first, kids second, and then your job. And so being, you know, tending to that garden, you need a lot of different skills, a lot of different attributes, a lot of character you have to build. I don't care where you came from, your environment or whatever, you got to learn those things. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful in life, right? So
100%.
I think having those skills and like doing this thing at work all day and then not applying them to my personal life, I was like, dude, I'm not being as good as I could be. Like, I got to be a better communicator with my wife for sure, right? Because I don't like to talk in the first place. And then, you know, with my kids, like, I'm a good dad and a good husband, but like, there is so much more I could be, you know, in terms of like being an effective communicator with them to like understand what my kids' needs, like their dreams and aspirations and goals, and like raising them up with character, like Patrick talks about a lot, like raising kids the right way.
That's right.
You know, and so I think especially the last 3 months, dude, like I feel like a totally different person in like how I'm in my personal life. Just, you know, whether it's talking to the kids, having more patience, more empathy, right? It's just, you know, I feel very blessed to be part of this organization to not only help the team out, right, but I get a lot of benefit too. Like, I get paid pretty good. And then in the personal life, you know, like I've taken leaps and bounds from where I was in June 3 months ago.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. Speaking of getting paid really good, would you mind sharing with our listener like what your best month has been in sales at One Call Closer since you started in the last 3 months?
Well, it's September. Last month in August, it's my best month by far. It was funny because Trish, at the beginning of like August 1st, she goes, okay, write down your goals, like, so for everyone to see. And I was like, oh, I hate doing this stuff. And everyone starts putting their goals down. And I think I had sold 50K my first full month in July. And I was like, just double it. Why not? I'll put 100K. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do it, but at least it's a big goal. Maybe if I get like 70% of the way, I'll be happy. And now I'm gonna do 2 trainings a day, or during the week. And so by the end of the month, I hit like 130 in sales, 130K.
Damn, 130,000 in sales?
Yeah. It's
Let's
crazy.
go.
Yeah, because like 2 weeks in, I hit like 70K. I was like, holy cow, I can actually do it this month. It's crazy. And then, you know, the next two weeks was 60K or whatever. So I was blown away. I was like, dude, holy cow. I didn't have a roadmap to this. I don't know how to do this. I went to trainings every single day, 2 trainings. So that's like, what, like 30 trainings? Yeah, I was pretty shocked.
Would you say you broke some beliefs?
Yeah. And I don't think it was something that I couldn't believe in myself that I couldn't do it eventually. But I was like, dude, there's no, like, it
would happen that fast?
I was like, there's no way I could do that. But it was crazy. Yeah.
That's
It
awesome.
was a wild ride.
Now, just so our listener knows, what does 130,000 in cash collected on the offer you're on equate to in commissions earned in your pocket?
It was my biggest month like ever in commission sales for sure. I think I made like over 16K last
$16,000, guys. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Guys, that's about almost, if he just keeps going at that track, that's multiple six figures. Like he's on the road, he's on the path to multiple six figures, right? That's insane, dude. That's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Like if you just keep that up, like you'll be at 200K if you just keep that same pace up. But I know you're not going to keep that. I know you're going to do more because of how you show up, dude. And this is just the beginning. It's only been 90 days, right? So it's like, dude, there's endless possibilities.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I'm sure you see, Ava on that leaderboard, which I'm interviewing here next. So I'm pretty excited to talk to her a little bit as well.
Well, I was beating her before we came to Florida. So
okay, hey, there we go.
You know what? Me, Ava.
It's only the 6th of the month, guys. We got a lot of time left this month. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Is there anything you did with that money that was maybe out of the ordinary that you normally wouldn't do? Did you kind of splurge? Did you spend anything on the family, the kids, or was it kind of, hey, man, I'm just going to keep it pretty basic and I'm not going to really change my routine? Like, I'm just curious.
No, I didn't do any splurging. I wasn't planning on coming to Florida, but I'm sure glad that I did.
Okay.
I think I'm going to give more to my church, which is fun.
That's
to
incredible.
Do,
Good for you.
So going to do that. I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit. Probably look into some real estate here coming up. So
that's awesome, man. I love real estate, so I love hearing that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Dude, one thing I want to dive into is the fridge story. If you're open to it,
I might cry, dude.
You want to go there or you don't?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go there. So you mentioned feeling like a loser because you always win. Tell me more about what you mean by that.
So it's something I think about sometimes when I'm getting down, or when maybe even when life is good. But there was a time when, like I said, we were newly married. We had our first kid with us, and it was our second apartment because we had a 2-bedroom because now we had a kid. And my daughter Nicole, she was like less than 1. She was like 6 months old or whatever, and was doing this loan gig, and I was made 2 sales. And I think my biggest check was like $7,000, but I only sold like 2 in the whole year. And so I'm like, we're kind of broke. So my wife had to get like a part-time job in an office, like making minimum, like not very good money. And so I felt, like a loser. I really did. And I was like, dude, I can't believe this is so hard. Like going from the military structure, you get your paycheck every week. We didn't make much money, but to like, you're out on your own, buddy. Like you got to make a sale, you don't make money. And so
it's time to hunt.
We were super broke, and I don't know how we made it through. But I remember this one time I went to the fridge to go get some food because I was hungry, and I opened up the fridge and there was literally nothing in the fridge. Like it was empty. Like there was like ketchup and mustard and like mayonnaise. And that was it, dude. And I like took a picture of it. I still have the picture of this empty ass fridge. Like, dude, what am I doing? And it hurt, dude. And I'll remember that till the day I die. We were broke. I don't know how we made it out of there. God's blessed me in my life and my family's life and everything. And so I've been to the bottom, dude. Like I've been to Iraq, I've been through hell, I've been broke, and to like be at a place now where I'm super blessed and be able to like continue to serve people. Like always felt like it was my duty, like I said. And so we're here now.
That's crazy, man. I got goosebumps. Look at that. Dude,
I see him.
That's crazy. So, dude, that's So I've been at rock bottom a couple times, but to be honest with you, like I've never been in a spot where I've opened my fridge and it's just like I've always at least had my parents or just someone around. So I can't even imagine what that feels like, dude. But it sounds like, the Lord was with you and, you somehow, some way made it through. And I believe that to be true, man. I feel like some way in shape or form, like some things just always end up working out. Like, especially when you're at rock bottom and if you have faith, if you believe, like, dude, things like turn around, and so that's freaking crazy to hear, dude. But it just goes to show, like, dude, you guys, if you're at rock bottom right now and you're at like what you think is the worst like life you've ever experienced or had, guys, just know like there is hope and encouragement around the corner, right? So don't give up on yourself. And reach out for help, right? Don't suffer in silence. If you feel like, man, like I need some words of wisdom, I need some advice, come inside of our coaching calls that we do Monday through Friday for free. Like we do 5 days a week live training. Come in and ask us for help, and we're more than willing to help you out in whatever ways that we could, man. But that's inspiring to hear that, dude. You go from that to where I hear you where you're at today and all the success you're having in the last 3 months. That's freaking incredible, bro. That's awesome, man. So as someone who's found now success after a lot of twists and turns, what advice would you give someone who's just like starting out in sales and might be feeling even a little discouraged? Maybe they're not having the level of success that you're having right now, right? And you certainly didn't when you started off. You said you sucked. I freaking sucked at a lot of different things that I did. So like, do you have any advice you would leave to someone that's feeling a little discouraged right now, but like doesn't want to give up?
Yeah, I mean, we all got to start somewhere, right? And I started at the very bottom. I was awful. But, you know, I think I put myself around people, especially, well, in sales specifically, that knew how to sell. Like, and I found a mentor, my father-in-law. And I learned a lot from watching my dad, right? And I think not giving up is the first thing, because once you give up, like that's it, like you're done, right? So, you know, don't give up. I think putting in the hours, getting the experience of doing it, learning to do the right things, especially you have to have a teacher or a mentor, right? And so having those mentors in my life, whether it's like your boss or your supervisor or even just like one of your friends that can be around you to coach you or like give you inspiration or encouragement through those tough times, because the tough times are going to come. Like your fridge is going to be empty one day. Like it's going to happen, whether it's like your physical fridge, right, or your mental fridge or whatever it is. I think just not giving up and like continuing to fight and, you know, just working hard. I don't know. That's how I found my success, at least.
I love that, man. Guys, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And that's kind of what I hear you saying right now, man.
There you go.
Like that's exactly what I hear you saying.
I
found that to be true. One of my mentors told me that early on. And anytime I'm experiencing something where I don't feel like it's going the way I want, I just have to remind myself, tough times don't last, guys, but tough people do. That's it. Oh man, a couple more things I really want to get into, dude. This is awesome. We got to have you back on. I hope you come out to our Christmas party later this December, and hopefully I can have you back on the podcast. You can hear kind of a little bit more about your journey.
I'll be there.
That's awesome. You mentioned like, hey, you just brought up like, you know, having a mentor coaching. Like you've also shared like, hey, once this has been life-changing for you, what makes the training so impactful, and how do you feel like it's helped you have some recent success in high-ticket sales?
Yeah, I think the main thing is it gives you self-awareness of what you're doing. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like Patrick was talking about, after every negotiation, they debrief. Like we do that in the military. Hey, we do like a operation or like some training, debrief. Go over the bad, go over the good. That's exactly what we do in training. Like we go over some wins, go over how to fix ourselves. I think Trish always says it. Shout out to Trish. She always says, hey, you guys already know this stuff. Like, I'm just here to remind you, right? And so it's, I think that, especially the last month for sure, going twice a day, it was like, hey, I'm getting reminded about what I should be doing, what I should be saying, how I should be acting. Just getting that reinforcement, like time and time again, is huge, right? And like having a mentor is like, it's great. And if you don't have a mentor out there, it's not that hard to find. Like you can literally go up to someone successful that you know, your community, your family, and be like, hey, dude, can you mentor me? And I guarantee it, 99% of people are gonna say yes. Because I've already had people come up to me and I'm like, dude, I'm still learning here. Like new people come ask me for help. I'm like, yeah, here, this is what you do. So it's cool. It's like being, like I'm getting mentored, but I'm also starting to like mentor some of the newer folks who are asking questions. So, dude, if you don't have one, like find one. It is not that hard, trust me. So that's my advice, I guess.
That's awesome, man. Get a mentor, guys. And if you need a mentor and you can't find one right now, get inside a freaking school. Guys, click the second link in the description below. We have free courses for you to understand how to get into sales. We'll give you the free frameworks, and we give you 5 days of live free coaching. Take advantage of it, guys. It's freaking free. Click the second link in the bio below to join our free school community. It's called the Closers Network. Couple more phone questions. You might not have answers to any of these, so if you don't, let's just move on. So you don't have to necessarily spend a whole lot of time thinking about it if you don't. Do you even have a favorite movie or TV show that's sales related at all?
Oh, The Office. I already said it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
I think me and my wife have watched it like 12 times. Like from season 1 to season 9 or whatever it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So it's funny
Office,
because
my kids love it.
Oh, that's so cool. I love The Office, and I'm on my second round right now. But I believe it or not, I'd never watched The Office until COVID. Yeah. And dude, at first for me, COVID was like pretty fun. I was like, dude, I could get used to like, I had not been caught up for a while, and I had felt like I'd been put so many personal things on the back burner in my life that I'd just been so caught up in business and being successful or trying to be and doing all this stuff that I had so many little things I just never put the time or effort into that I just kept putting on the back burner, but it kept piling up and turning into a larger thing. So like the first 3 to 4 weeks, like I found it beneficial because it felt like a reset. It felt like really something I needed. But dude, after that month, it kind of started becoming like, damn, bro, this is intense. You know, like there's nothing going on here. And right around that second month, I was like, dude, I've never seen The Office, and I feel like I need a comedy right now because I need to be in a better headspace. Yeah. Dude, this is like the best TV show you could watch during that time, especially I had never seen it. Yeah. It was perfect. I was just giggling, laughing. Me and my wife couldn't wait every day to get off work, come home, and put on The Office. So it took me to this like happy place that just took my mind off of a lot of things going on, and there was the sales element to it, so I thought that was freaking cool.
That's also when Tiger King came out too.
That's right. And of course we had to watch. You know what's funny? I was at dude, this chair almost broke, I think. But we're at the airport, and I swear to you, dude, like what do you call not the TSA people, but the stewardess that kind of like greet you to the get you on the plane.
Yeah.
I forgot whatever the thing is called, the ramp that you get on the plane. Yeah. But they were like paging Carol Baskin. I was like, there's no way, bro. There's another Carol Baskin. I was looking out for her. I'm like, where's Carol Baskin, bro? And I was having a good old laugh by myself. It was just funny. I wanted to mention that.
Carol Baskin,
bro. Do you have a sales thought leader that are alive that you would maybe want to have dinner with? If you do, who would it be and why?
A sales thought leader,
or an influencer, you know.
That's a tough one, man. I think, and I'm not just saying this because of like, you know, my faith or whatever. I think Jesus would be cool, not because he's Jesus, but I think because of the way that he taught in terms of like parables. Like he would communicate in a way where people would understand. And some people didn't understand because he was talking about one thing, but there was like a metaphor for another thing. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I love this guy, man. He's giving me answers I've never gotten on this show before, dude. Like, I freaking love you, dude. This is awesome. Freaking Office, Jesus. Like, this is powerful stuff, man.
And Carol Baskin.
And Carol Baskin, dude. That's awesome stuff, man. That's powerful. Dude, before we wrap it up, I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything that maybe you want to kind of share with our listener. Is there anything that maybe I missed that you feel like you want to kind of share or like shed any type of light on to our listener today?
I think that if you're like thinking about doing something that's going to change your life, I think that you're looking for a new opportunity, you're looking to make some money, meet some cool people, get some good training. Whether it's like, hey, I've done this for years, or hey, I've like never sold a thing in my life. I think 1cc has been a game changer for me, and I've been through a lot. We've been through a lot, right? in this call. Like, I think if you're holding back, you're only stopping yourself from whether it's growing personally, professionally. I think you need to, if you're looking for a change, I think this is the place to be.
Bam, bam. There you guys hear it, guys. Straight from West Palm Beach, Florida. Again, we have a different location. It is about past midnight almost here. And it's, again, an unusual setting for us. But guys, we're here with like 25 of our team members here. So we're literally hanging out. We just came off of dinner. We had some lunches, some where did we go? Escape room.
Yeah.
We did a couple cool little activities, man, and it's been awesome. And that could be you. That could be you guys. So if you're serious about getting in and actually getting placement, right? Getting an opportunity, guys, where you can get some coaching on the exact offer we place you on. And if you're really serious about that, click the first link in the bio below and you can schedule a call with us to talk about coaching plus placement within the sales organization, One Call Closers, right? And guys, this is our sales agency. We're not like anybody else out there. We're not going to take your money and pretend like we're going to place you on another offer that we don't have any access to. Like, we have our own sales agency. We have offers that we sell for. We have influencers we sell for. And we've been doing that for 5 years, have taken over 250,000 sales calls and have scaled it to over $200 million in revenue. And if you want to be a part of this, you want to come hang out. I wish I could show you guys what these folks are doing right now. Outside by the pool, tearing it up. If you want to be a part of this, you want to come out, hang with us, you want to be part of that 25 maybe in the future, guys, click that first link. We'd love for you to be here and join with us and have a great time. That being said, if you are new to all this or you're not in our school community, make sure you click the second link and get it on the Closers Network in school. Take advantage of the 5 days a week free training that we do. That being said, dude, David, I want to thank you so much, man, for doing this, for coming out here, hanging with us, spending your time doing the podcast, tearing it up as if, like, dude, like the way you're showing up tells me a lot about your background in the military. So it's like, I know you've probably been through hell and back, dude. And I know a lot of people in the military and I know the sacrifice. I don't know. I try to understand, I should say, the sacrifice that it takes. Because I haven't been there and done that, dude. And I just respect and appreciate that there's patriots like you out there, dude.
Thank you.
That are willing to put themselves out there, go out there and serve the country. And just do what you do, man. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything you do, man. Thank you for coming out. It's been a pleasure, bro. And I can't wait to have you back on before our Christmas holiday event that we have every year down here in Temecula, California.
Nice.
But that being said, brother, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You have a wonderful rest of the night. We hope to see you guys on the next podcast episode. Have a good one. Peace.